Hi, Adriana. Participants.
Can you hear me, Jesse?
Yes.
Okay. What happened is that I am with Apollonia at this moment. We have been trying for more than an hour to be able to connect. I don't know what is happening with his phone, but every time that he opens an app, it's asking his phone to au-
Authenticate? Yeah,
thank you, thank you.
it's a mouthful.
Yeah, I was like, "Ta, ta, ta, ta." So, anyways, yes. So I have him already in the line with me, but he's not able to connect.
Got it. But
So,
he has we gave him a laptop. Does he not use it? Like
oh, does he does have a laptop?
he was given a laptop over a year ago, if not 2 years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hold on for a second, please. Apolonio, buenos días.
Yeah.
Estoy hablando con Jesse. Él me comenta que te dieron una laptop. ¿Tú tienes la laptop disponible? Oh, he said that you guys didn't give her anything.
That's not true. Okay, sorry, that's not true. I delivered it to him myself
Jesse está en
like
el
two
frente
years
de
ago.
ahí y dice que hace 2 años atrás él te llevó una tableta, una laptop. Oh, he said that you brought him a hot spot.
Yeah, but also a device. Okay,
Okay.
I'll check. Yeah, sorry, I take that back. Maybe I have to check with him. If he needed a device, we could provide him with one.
Yes, he does need it. And one
Okay.
thing that I offer him to do, if the laptop doesn't have the apps, I can download it for him, and I can connect his phone to the laptop. So automatically, whenever he is in the call,
Yeah.
he will switch.
Okay. Let me
Yes.
confirm. I will look back on who we gave laptops to. But yeah, we offered it to Apollo. Maybe he didn't take us up on the offer. I will work with Maria after.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Let me let her know. Thanks. Apolonio, lo que va a pasar es de que van a revisar con María a ver qué fue lo que se te dio y entonces una vez que lo identifiquen ya te lo van a dar. Pero trata de conectarlo, por favor, para que así cuando te lo pidan, ya tú puedas ofrecerlo. Ok, gracias. Vamos a.
Hey JJ, how's retirement?
Yes, going well. It's not for sissies though. I've read that you shouldn't retire and relocate at the same time, which I
Oh,
did.
okay. And where are you at now?
Oh,
Remind me.
I'm in Washington State.
Okay. Well, thank you for your commitment to this work in Washington State. Where exactly in Washington?
Well, if you head kind of southwest of Seattle, there's
Okay.
a area called Gig Harbor. So
Nice.
it's honestly it's like living in Yosemite with water. It's just
All
extraordinary.
right. No, that sounds lovely. I would think that's a great. They should put that on a postcard. And maybe you don't want that. Maybe you don't want it
Yeah.
to be too crowded
Yeah. I
there.
mean, so I have 150-foot cedar trees in my yard, so
Wonderful.
give you a feel for it.
Yeah.
So my grandkids are all up here
Oh, okay.
biking.
Very
So which they also say don't do. Don't chase your grandkids or your children because they're going to move again. So,
maybe.
Hi, good
Yeah,
but
morning,
thank you.
everybody.
I beg your pardon.
definitely.
Good morning.
Good one.
Ish, how was the CSN? Sorry, I couldn't make it. And how was the fellowship?
Oh, we missed you, man. It was good. We had a good 3 days in Fresno. Uh, Good productive regions of convening the first day. From what Maria shared, the Morgan Fells component of the programming was good, and we had a good exchange. It was a sort of a through line in the whole program around um, agriculture, food and beverage manufacturing, and it was good. It's good. Now we're shifting our attention over to Sacramento in August, so
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to seeing you again. All right, well, we'll give it a few more minutes. I know we have a packed agenda today, so we will try to start on time so that we can have enough time for everybody to get through
Good
their
morning, everyone.
Yeah, Maria, what was your impression of the exchange out here in Fresno?
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. I mean, I like going. I've been there a few times now in the last few years. Um, yeah, you guys do a really good job at running the sessions with the fellows, so thanks for that. It's definitely a welcoming environment. And I mentioned during one of the sessions towards the end, how it really feels like I gained a family with my cohort. So we update each other on like what we're doing in our lives, what's new, what's going on. You know, some people are having babies, some are traveling. It's just really awesome to have that. In grad school, I didn't have a cohort and I really wanted one. Um, so it's cool here, you know, have other people to share my life with.
No, that's great to hear.
Mm.
Awesome. Yeah, there are some great folks in your group that
Yeah,
are very welcoming and approachable that way.
yeah, for sure. And I sent you a text-ish if you want to take a look at it.
I saw that, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'll keep an eye on their attendance, and if they happen to not join, I'll kick it over to you when we get to that part of the agenda. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Hey, Dr. Walrod, how are you?
Morning. I'm good-ish. How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah,
It's
good.
crispy out in the Fresno area, as Maria can tell you. It's starting to heat up.
It's not here.
Yeah.
Let's see, what is the temperature here? 62,
Oh wow, that's awesome.
high of 68 today.
Mm. We're in the low 90s.
Whoa.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, good morning.
Good morning. We'll probably give it another minute or two. I want to get us started as close to 9 as possible because we do have a full agenda today, but we'll give an opportunity for others to join, and then we'll get started. But in the meantime, feel free to drop your do your introductions and welcomes in the chat and share your contact info as we typically do.
I see some messages in the chat. I will go ahead and respond to them, okay-ish?
Great, thank you.
So if the sector investment coordinators can hear me, you'll be promoted to panelist during your report. So the portion of your report.
Well, welcome everybody who's arrived. Probably give it one more minute and then we'll jump right in. We do have a full agenda today, so please continue to introduce yourself in the chat.
Good morning, Ish. Haciel Sanchez here. Just checking. Can you hear me correctly? Everything good?
Good morning, Haciel. Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Thank you for being here.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, I am getting a notice that my volume is low, so I am gonna work on that in the next minute. Okay. All right, well, welcome everybody. We are going to kick this off. We have a full agenda today, and so we want to make sure we make available every minute that we can to give ample time for the updates we're all going to be receiving today. So this is our latest edition of the California Jobs First Orange County Collaborative meeting, and as is customary on these calls, continue to introduce yourself in the chats and say hello to friends that you maybe haven't seen in a little bit. Use the chat function throughout the meeting to ask questions as well. Maria will be dropping the agenda packet in the chat if she hasn't already. She's very diligent about that during these meetings. But we're going to get started with our first item, which is something we've been doing with previous meetings where we're committed to bringing regular updates on Catalyst project awardees. These contracts are standing agenda items so that you all have a chance to learn where the status of these projects are, ask questions, identify opportunities for collaboration, that sort of thing. And so at this point in the agenda, we do want to move on. We do want to move into those updates so that we can maximize every minute that we have here today with you. So we'll start with round one and we'll make our way to round three contracts and get those updates today. I do want to just offer a quick reminder that questions and comments during this portion of the meeting on the contract updates are reserved for collaborative members only. We kindly ask that all members hold questions until the conclusion of the presentation, and then we'll open it up for a brief Q&A portion. And I will be monitoring time so that we make sure we have enough time for everybody to make their presentations and take a question or two. So with that, I will now turn it over to Jaciel, and then he will turn it over to Natalie. So let's go to you, Jaciel. The floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ish. So good morning, everyone. For anyone who wasn't able to make it to the last meeting, my name is Jaciel Sanchez, and I'm the contract administrator for the California Jobs First Regional Investment Initiative Catalyst program at Charitable Ventures. I work alongside the risk and analytics manager, Natalie Nguyen, who is also on this call. It's nice to meet you and meet with you all again. Like last time, I'll be sharing updates on awardees from rounds 1 through 3, including contract commitments, fiscal status, and performance, as well as next steps to support subcontractors. This will take about 5 minutes, and then I'll open it up for questions. So let's just go ahead and dive in. Can we switch to the next slide, please? Thank you. In total, we've committed $9 million across 46 projects across these 3 rounds. Round 1 has committed approximately $3.4 million to 14 projects. Round 2 has committed $4.6 million to 18 projects. Round 3 has committed approximately $1.1 million to 14 projects. The state offered us the option to apply for a no-cost extension of the contract, and we are pleased to share that our application has been approved. In the spirit of collaboration and to stay by our commitments to support the programs the best we can, we intend to extend this opportunity to all program partners. Interested partners will need to apply for an extension. Additional details and information about the applying for the extension will be shared in a future communication. This is all the information we are able to share at this time. Communication regarding the extension application will be sent by the end of the month. Responses to the application will be due approximately 1 month after the application is distributed. The application will be submitted through an online form. Then we will follow up with requesting the updated budget spend down plan. The application should take no more than 5 minutes. An approved application will require a completed form and a budget spend down plan. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. And now let's talk about where we are financially, specifically how much funding we've distributed and what remains available. For round 1, of the $3.4 million awarded, we have sent out over $1.7 million, leaving $1.6 million remaining to be distributed as projects continue their work. For round 2, of the $4.6 million awarded, we've sent $1.2 million to date, with $3.3 million remaining to be dispersed. For round 3, is our newest, and of the approximate 1 million awarded, we've sent 212,000 so far, with 777,000 remaining. These numbers are tracked closely, and we're monitoring cash flow and payment schedules to ensure subcontractors receive timely reimbursements. We are current with invoices to date, with January and February payments sent out earlier this week. With that, I would like to go ahead and pass it to Natalie. Thank you.
Thank you, Asiel. If I can get the next slide, please. Thank you. So let's talk about performance and how we're doing in terms of the contract timelines and fund utilization. For round one, it's the furthest along. Approximately 71% of the contract period has elapsed and 50% of the committed funds have been spent. Round two is trailing behind. Around 63% of the contract period has elapsed and 27% of the committed funds have been distributed. Round three is moving along well. Most contracts began their work as of the new year, and we're pleased to report that about 21% of the committed funds have been sent so far. As you know, with the no-cost extension, it reduces any concerns about returning unspent funds to the state. We still encourage steady, thoughtful spending. So what are we doing about these gaps? First, we worked with the awardees and the subcontractors to get budget projections, so we're able to help subcontractors plan their spending and ensure funds are fully utilized. Secondly, we'll be hosting a training session later this month for all awardees and subcontractors focused on reporting requirements and budget tracking to ensure everyone's clear in expectations and processes. The goal of this training is to support consistency in reporting practices and provide additional guidance on budget monitoring and documentation requirements. Attendance will be required for awardees and subcontractors that have not yet submitted financial reports, or otherwise you know them as invoices, and optional for those who have already submitted reports to us so far. Fiscal staff for each awardee or subcontractor are expected to attend, and we also encourage program staff to participate in order to support fiscal staff throughout the reporting process. Training will be conducted via Zoom, and we will include time for Q&A. Additional communication with meeting details will be sent in a separate email to all awardees and subcontractors. Training materials, slides, templates will be shared afterwards. We also intend to record the session. The recording will be available for further review and reference. Third, lastly, we're committed to providing guidance and support to subcontractors to maximize fund utilization, ensuring that every dollar committed is deployed effectively and to reach program goals. Our goal in all of this is to improve the pace of spending while maintaining quality and compliance. And if you can get the next slide, that is our report out in terms of the contracts and finances. So I'll open the floor up to any questions that you might have. I believe I saw some items in the chat here. So Maria, if you don't mind, I can go ahead and address the first one from Josefa.
Yeah, go ahead, Natalie, please.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josefa, you in the comments you said no cost extension is an extension until when? September or December. So as the contracts currently stand, it is out until September 30th, 2026. The extension will be until up to November 30th, 2026. So an extra 60 days or 2 months to your contract that you currently have. I hope that answered your question, Josefa. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions in the chat, or if you want to come off mute and ask Natalie and Hasiel a question, we do have time for perhaps one more. Okay. Well, thank you both for
Wonderful. Thank you.
that
Thank you.
update. No further questions. We're going to move on to the next portion of the agenda. And so we're now going to start with updates of round 1 through 3. These are project updates from the sector investment coordinators. And as we do these presentations, I just want to encourage everybody to be mindful of the time. In the past, we've done the presentations for just rounds 1 and 2. Today, we are also including round 3, which adds updates on an additional 14 projects. So a little bit more content to cover with the same 1-hour time frame. So just be cognizant of the time. We'll try to make time for questions at the end of each presentation, depending on how we're doing. Maybe it might be 1 question, maybe 2 at most. We can certainly use the chat function as well. Jesse will be sharing the screen on behalf of each of the sector investment coordinators. Just let us know when you're ready to move to the next slide, and we'll get your slides going. So to help us begin in this process today, we're going to turn over to Christina with First Five to get us started. So Christina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I will be brief. So the Hope Community Services through Give Us Hope is the first project that I'm reporting on. They were doing an in-home childcare training to have participants become licensed providers. So they had a pilot. It was about 8 weeks, and they had 10 participants complete it and graduate from their program. And I think 2 of them now are serving children, and the other 8 are still kind of in the process of licensing or deciding whether they want to become licensed, because it's kind of a commitment. So they are pretty much done with their project under the Jobs First grant, but they are looking for sustainability to do a future cohort and expand their program. But they did have some leadership transitions over there, so it's pausing their planning for the next cohort and finding funding for that cohort. Next slide. The Little Village is a place-based child care program that is placed alongside a workspace for parents so that they can be working upstairs in offices and their children will be taken care of downstairs in the same building. They've had a lot of progress these last few months. They finalized their curriculum and philosophy for their childcare program, and they've been meeting with the Adelante partners on marketing and advertising. They are launching a soft launch on June 8th with their full opening later on in the summer before August. They haven't picked the exact date yet. And they are collaborating with OC Pathways to get an apprentice to support their childcare program. And they hired a child care manager to oversee that apprentice and to start enrolling children and starting those services. Some of the barriers they've had are construction. They are renting a building, and they've had some struggles there with the landlord and the construction that they need to do to make the space safe for children. And then time, just everybody struggles with time. So I think that's enough said. Some consideration there for them is a summer programming to help bring in additional income. I think they, in their budgeting, have realized how expensive childcare is and how it doesn't pay back a lot of money. So trying to figure out how to bring in additional funds so that they can build out a full program and bring in that additional income. Could be through a summer program or parents' night outs or different types of supports where they can best utilize that space for children. So on the next slide, the Low Income Investment Fund is one of the most recent in the round 3 grants, and they are supporting with the activation plan. And their progress is that they've been able to map out existing and potential facilities that could host child care services within Orange County. They're working with cities and identifying any gaps or barriers that are making it difficult for childcare providers to open businesses within the city. So working with those cities to see how we can ease that for providers. They've met with their 12 cities so far and have shared with them recommendations that could expedite that permitting and zoning for providers. Some of the barriers is that they put out a survey to cities that the response has been a little slow. And so trying to follow up with the additional 20-something cities has been a bit of a challenge because it's hard to find that right person at the city who will support with that survey. And then they are using a program called Pargo to help them identify where these empty parcels are. And so they purchased access to that program, but there's a little bit of a barrier in ensuring that the map is complete. So they have to do like extra double checking of what's being pulled out of that data system. And then some considerations for them recently, Build Up California hosted a best practices webinar on AB 752 implementation, and it featured the city of Anaheim. So we're thinking about Could we replicate something like this so that the cities in Orange County can hear what Anaheim is doing and how they've been able to implement this new policy? And it'll hopefully help other cities in our county also implement that practice, which will expedite the zoning and the permitting for our providers. So those kind of go hand in hand. And then the next project is Muckenthaler and Associates, and she has been working with businesses with providing technical assistance. So we've identified and engaged at-risk providers. We put out a survey and we're able to identify, we surveyed all 2,000 licensed providers in our county and identified, based on self-report, those of the providers that have been at risk of closure. So she's working with about 6 of them right now. And has drafted stabilization plans with those providers. And then because it's very time consuming and they can only meet in the evenings, we haven't been able to reach out further individually, but we are holding workshops for family childcare providers specifically to help with their administration. So doing those once a month to bring in some of the support that she's doing individually, but in a group setting. Some of the barriers there really is that the provider financial stability is really severe, more severe than anticipated, where they are really nickel and diming and living paycheck to paycheck to pay their leases and their mortgages to be able to serve children. And there is a real high demand for support by providers. So a consideration there is a countywide stabilization model that can be scalable. If we can partner with business coaching, and access to capital has come up over and over by our providers. So figuring out how we can support them with that access to capital. And then the final project that I will be reviewing is also Muckenthaler and Associates. And she's working on expanding community partnerships for childcare. So we have, in that same survey, we looked at it to inform recommendations and next steps with our partners. We have engaged 8 partners listed here and have done site visits to see if there is space available and if there is extra funding that is not being utilized, and how we can collaborate to open the space that's available by leveraging the extra funding that's out there. So some of the barriers there is the high demand for partnership. A lot of people are open to coming in and operating a program, but the funding doesn't always align with the type of program they want to open. So for example, if you're a state preschool provider, but you want to work with infants and toddlers, you can't use your state preschool funding. So we have to go back to Department of Social Services to try to see if there's funding there. And we all know the budget is tight. So that's kind of been a struggle with those funding constraints. And there are 2 departments at the state level, Department of Ed and Department of Social Services. And the money doesn't flow between them. So it's just been kind of navigating the funding struggles up at the state. So some considerations there is that there's momentum towards expanding and partnering, but the process is really slow, especially when we're navigating the different funding sources. And we really want to be able to braid funding so that we can be a little more sustainable and stronger in the services that are being supported for the 0 to 5 population. So that is it for me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Christina. Any questions for Christina, either in the chat or if you want to come off mute, you can just go ahead and do that. I don't see any questions in the chat at the moment. Josefa did drop a resource in the chat with the funding opportunity for childcare, but don't see questions. Anybody have questions for any of these projects? I'm also not seeing any hands raised. So I think we will proceed with our next set of presentations. So thank you very much, Christina. Appreciate you being here to update us on the status of all these great projects. I'm going to turn it over now to Zoot Velasco. Zoot, if you're ready, I think I just saw you drop something in the chat. So let's turn it over to you to give your updates. Welcome. Zoot, can you hear us?
Sorry about that. I was transitioning to panelists, so I didn't realize I was muted.
Gotcha. We can hear you just fine. Take it
All
away.
right. Great. So I dropped a link in the chat and feel free to go to that link and go to the center of the page and you'll see what I'm going to talk about. So together with my 18-member steering committee and OCBC, we have tackled all 4 of the strategies of the OC Tourism and Outdoor Recreation Activation Plan and completed all 23 tactics identified within those strategies. So we were able to create the 18-member steering committee, identify over 100 key leaders of the tourism sector, including employers, educators, community partners, marketers, and funders. We met and polled these partners as to their successes, challenges, needs, best practices, recommendations, skills gaps, and emerging trends. We created a newsletter and named our collaborative Octave, standing for the Orange County Tourism Associates Virtual Exchange. In music, when you go up an octave, it means that you're playing the same music at a higher pitch. And that's what we hope our goal is with tourism, is to play the same music but at a higher level. So to date, we've released 6 issues of the Octave newsletter, and I dropped that link in the chat, and it reports on matters identified by our work with these OC tourism leaders. And you can see all of the newsletters there. There's 6 that have come out. You can sign up for it there as well as with Maria. We're also reporting on 4 tourism-related pilot programs from Cooperación Santa Ana, Store One, and RevHub. And we identified strategic partners, including the partner at California State University Fullerton's Center for Entertainment and Hospitality Management. They've actually agreed to take over Octave after our purview expires in September. And they see Octave as a great fit with their goals of growing relationships with employers, funders, and other tourism leaders. Between now and September, I'll be facilitating the change in leadership, continuing our quarterly meetings and newsletters, and consulting with our pilot programs at RevHub and reporting a final report. So that's my report in a nutshell. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Zoot. Any questions for Zoot? In the chat, I'm going to check to see if there's anyone there. No questions in the chat. Anybody wishing to come off Zoom? I'm sorry, come off mute to ask a question of Zoot? I'm also not seeing any.
I think everyone's wanting to come off Zoom. But no, I don't see any questions either on my end. But if anybody wants to sign up for the newsletter, please email me directly and I'll do it immediately.
Okay, great. Thank you, Maria. With that, we're going to move on to our next presenter, and that is Richard Lambros. So, Richard,
thank you.
the floor is yours.
Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. 3 projects to report on. Our first one's Access California Services. As a reminder, this is for pre-construction work on a new Access California building that they're building at the services headquarters facility in Anaheim. This one's an easy one to start with because they're on schedule and on budget with really no issues to report. Been working through everything related to building and design with City of Anaheim and making great progress. So confident they should complete that work on schedule and then be able to turn their attention to their construction fundraising and getting that project built. So that's our quick report on Access California. Next, we have CAP OC. Similarly, CAP OC is a grant related to pre-construction work. This is on a new building they're working on at their facility on Garza Avenue. Garza is located in unincorporated Orange County, so the planning and construction work needs to go through County of Orange. That has taken a little longer than anticipated, back and forth with planning department. Good news is down to just one issue remaining with the OC planning. It's related to fire suppression. The folks at CAP OC and I believe that will get resolved shortly. But the back and forth there is probably delayed pre-construction work by about 4 to 6 months. So they had anticipated start of construction around December 26, probably looking more like April 27, but happily have been making their way through. There's a number of complications in the pre-construction work on this project. In addition to the funding they received from Catalyst, they also have received federal grant funding for pre-construction work. And so with all of that, they should get through fine. Similar to the Access California project, their next step is looking toward construction construction funding. And they have been doing a good job of lining that up. Still more work to go. But as they get this shovel ready, that will help to open the door for some of the other grants and dollars they are pursuing. Final item involves our International Association of Heat and Frost Insulators and Allied Trades Local 5. This one, as a reminder, is for thermographic assessment, the MITA program. This is to provide training. And what MITA does is trains folks in how to assess for heat loss in heating and air systems. This is very important and a priority in the state since it tightening up the systems, making appropriate repairs, reduces energy cost, and has environmental benefit. Three things that Allied Trades were supposed to do in this grant. One is outreach. They've pretty much completed that. They've done a number of events in the region. They had a goal of 10. They've completed 7. Second is training. Their training has been lined up and scheduled for June. If that goes as planned, they will have completed that requirement. And third is assessments. They're supposed to work with various businesses, nonprofits, public institutions to do assessments of heating and air on different facilities. That's probably where they're moving a little slower than we'd like, but they have completed one and are working to line up a number more. They're a goal of 10 assessments under this funding as well. So that's the update on the work on the MITA program. Any questions? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, Ish, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Any questions for Richard? Feel free to come off mute if you have any questions about these projects. I don't see questions in the chat or any hands raised, but if anybody wants to come off mute, ask a question about any one of these projects, now's the time.
Yeah, Ish, also, I do have all of the quarterly progress reports that the project awardee sent me. So I know this is a lot of information, very heavy on a Friday at 9 a.m. So if anybody wants additional information, I can reach out to the sector investment coordinator or just use whatever reports I've received and send them through email to the collaborative.
That's great. Thank you, Maria. And actually, I'm going to turn to you for the next update on.
I think Matt is here. I'm
Is he
pretty sure
here?
I saw him.
Matt, are you here?
He might be on the attendee side. Let me double check. Yeah, I see him. I'll promote him to panelist.
Okay, great. All right, well, give us a couple seconds here so we get Matt Horton in panelist mode.
I see him now. Yeah.
Well, sorry for that suspense.
It's
Hey,
okay.
Matt, welcome.
What's up, Ish?
Good to see you. The floor is yours on these 2 projects. Oh, did we lose you, Matt? You there?
We might have lost him. I'll double check. He's back to attendee. I'll try to promote him again, and if not, I'll just report on his behalf.
Okay, great.
Okay, he's back to panelist. Hey, Matt, are you
Matt,
good?
Yeah. Is this?
Or-
Yeah. Sorry for that suspense.
No, all good. Go ahead and jump in on the updates for these 2 projects.
Yeah. As Maria was alluding to, at this point, I don't have a good update. Not due to anything wrong with the project on the advanced manufacturing side with Cal State Fullerton. Just from a communication, wires crossed. I need to get a better sense of where that project is at. But in terms of the AI hub, I've been working with Larry and Octane on their phase 2 approach on job vulnerability and industry analysis. So we're going to touch base on that next week to see how we can get that data and research to kind of to fulfill that part of the hub development for the healthcare innovation hub.
Great. Okay, thank you, Matt. Appreciate those updates. Any updates for Matt? Or any questions for Matt, I should say, on either one of these 2 projects. Don't see any in the chat. Also not seeing any hands raised. Okay, Matt. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to give us these updates on these two projects. We're gonna continue to move here. We're gonna turn it over now to Larry, Larry Holt with Octane to provide us updates on his projects. Right. And Larry, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me and see me?
We can. Welcome. Floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you. I've got a lot, so I'm gonna just kind of grind through it. Starting with Bespoke Strategy is doing a supply chain analysis. That project is in progress. There's been some pilots with ULP. There's actually an international company now considering Orange County, so that's a positive. There have been some additional data acquisitions, and this is a very data-heavy initiative, so expect a full report this summer. Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Semiconductor Career Awareness, that project is ongoing. They have secured an MOU with Ingram Micro for the mentoring pilot and have reached over 100 students through Cypress College and the OC Pathways Showcase. All of their metrics are tracking above 89%. They also have another initiative on MedTech mentorship and apprenticeship, and that initiative has formalized a partnership with Edwards Lifesciences and launched that mentoring pilot. They are also coordinating with SHRM, the Human Resource Management Group, to bridge these mentorships into formal internships. They've made 20 matches. 97% of youth reported increased awareness of MedTech career pathways. So great news there. The Biocom Institute MedTech Workforce Needs Assessment is underway. Distribution is going far and wide. Octane has assisted with that. And there are a handful selected for in-depth qualitative interviews as part of that as well. Also on Biocom Institute, their Life Science Career Fellowship is ongoing. 10 college fellows have been paired with 10 industry professionals. And there was a March networking event with mock interviews with sector experts. Blended Impact held a sector leadership group event just this week. And so that has launched. They hosted Michael Karavolis, I hope I'm saying that right, of GoBiz for information on the state's approach to this important industry. There will be a June in-person session for the Blended Impact Orange County Sector Leadership Group. Cal State Fullerton is developing a framework for undergraduate research that integrates semiconductor technology with entrepreneurial training. And they are in touch with several of the other contractors as it relates to that initiative. The City of Irvine's OC MedTech Navigator. That's launched. So that online portal is live, offering concierge-style permitting and planning support for advanced technologies. They are also launching a 25,000 square foot center for innovation and entrepreneurship that is currently in evaluation mode and focused on healthcare innovation and next-gen defense. Finally, the Semi Foundation with their OC Semi Workforce Development. And they held an event last week that OCBC assisted with. And it was just a tremendous event, a major convening on May 5th. I suspect there were about 40 people in the room, including employers. CSUF was there. And just a very active conversation on workforce needs that identified critical shortages in specialized engineering rules, roles, excuse me, and a need for earlier exposure to semiconductor careers. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Great. Thank you, Larry, for those updates. Any questions for Larry from the group? Feel free to come off mute or raise your hand. I don't see any questions in the chat. I'm also not seeing any raised hands. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you, Larry, for taking the time to provide these updates for us this morning. Appreciate it. We're going to continue proceeding here with Kathy. Kathy Boyd, let's turn to you.
Thanks, Ish. So I just going to give a couple of highlights. I might not read everything on the slide because there's quite a few projects, but Capistrano Unified School District has a construction pre-apprenticeship program, and the College and Career Advantage is the name of the ROP that's associated with the school district. But they're refining their pre-apprenticeship and non-traditional youth apprenticeship integration model with Simon Builders, which is a philanthropic group here in Orange County that are doing tiny homes, advising advisory board structure and program design. They're kind of doing some new consultation under revising that. They've got their quarterly reporting and their teacher hiring underway. They're opening it's going to go from 1 school to 2 schools next year. And so they're opening up their new lab and hiring the construction teacher as we speak. And then they're finalizing partnership framework to confirm this, the cohort launch for this next lab that they're opening. So things are going really well there. Next slide. And the Advancing Culinary Features at Coastline Community College with Stephanie Fager being my point person. She's doing some digital badging framework and credential alignment progress right now. She's tracking the systems integration. She has these milestones. She's actually working with career centers. One thing she found is each of the community colleges, because if you're not familiar, there's 10 community colleges in Orange County. Each of them have career centers, but they all do different things. There's not any alignment between how the career centers work at any of these colleges. So as she looks at a program that's going to go across multiple colleges, there's things that need to be streamlined and worked out. And so we've actually gotten some great conversations about how we might help that above and beyond just this project. Her quarterly progress reporting and documentation has been great. It's on support. It's supporting all the things she's tried to do. And that next step is validating the badging framework against the industry standards for the restaurant industries and affiliations there. Next slide. Fullerton College has their autonomous systems technician training hub, and that's Jay Seidel. And he's pivoted from a kind of a luncheon outreach approach to more campus and industry showcase strategy. So he's just trying different things to get industry partners involved. There's not a lot of response. And so he's just, throwing potato on the wall and seeing what sticks, but things are working. Active outreach to the OC Defense and Aerospace employer organizations. We have strategic council on the K-12 engagement and partnership cultivation, like through dual enrollment. So basically he's had some success in cultivating new partnerships for dual enrollment opportunities at some of our high schools. And then he's securing this formal partnership specifically right now with Canyon High School to try and blend in dual enrollment during the school day during another class period, which may not make a lot of sense to people not in education, but that's kind of a big deal to get it during the school day versus after the school day. So next slide. Neurotalent Works with Jessica Lee is my point person. Their current model has focused on patient-facing clinic jobs. They're expanding that into job training for hospital back office roles like accounting, medical coding, and clerical. So that's an exciting shift for her. They could build basically a 3-week training program to support this, and they're in the kind of in the midst of doing that right now. They have been connecting to the OC Workforce Board and maybe even looking to connect with the Santa Ana Workforce and the Anaheim Workforce Boards to see if some of the work that they did in LA could be replicated in Orange County. Moving toward that replication plan, detailing how to expand the program altogether. And then she's looking at both qualitative and quantitative data in her efforts to gather data, not just the storytelling, but how do we look at some numbers and how things have shifted in organizations. And then finally, she's awaiting a decision on funding she's looking for more funding through, I think, the Samueli grant she recently applied for with Chapman University and Goodwill. So we'll see if she gets some more sustainable funding going on. Next slide. We've got the licensed vocational nursing bridge program at Santa Ana College. It's through their School of Continuing Education, and they have their onboarding is complete. They have LVN, the program briefing and discussion guide has been delivered. The clinical placement opportunities they've got one or two that they, based on a new network they're involved with CalOptima and some meetings that have been happening. They've already identified 2 potential partners for LVN clinical sites. They have the letter of intent outreach with Jasmine for their clinical partner facilities. And then next, they're going to be their first clinical placement partnership has been confirmed with some MOUs. I think they also said, it was just 2 days ago, they have 9 courses that they've written and submitted, which is a huge feat to overcome. So very happy with their progress. Next one. The Culinary Arts Program with Santa Ana College, also through the School of Continuing Ed, they're doing a brand new kitchen construction. So the primary operational hurdle is getting the construction services invoices processed, because when you're working in these kinds of huge organizations, the district facilities office and the business office, it's kind of tough to get through all of that, but they're working through it. The new kitchen construction will take a while, so they're working with their current kitchen rental space vendor to process invoices and renew their rental agreement for the new fiscal year. The program recently sent 21 students that are active, even though they don't have their new kitchen, on a field trip to a food competition. So they're trying to really ramp up the current program so that it's a kind of full scale once they do have the kitchen open. And then they're looking at adding a butchery certificate to their program. That's a new development. And then the formal employment agreements aren't solidified yet. They're still about 1.5 years out from this being solidified as a building construction program. So they have some time to cultivate some relationships for the placement of apprentices and interns in the future, but they are starting those conversations. The 2 new partners that they have recently were Takanaso, I think I'm saying that right, and Northgate Markets. So they're very excited about that. Next slide. And overall, since I work with the K-16 projects at the county office, we have been looking at, I think there's 2, Catalyst Little Village was one of them, and I think there's one more that have engaged in the apprenticeship program and getting some additional funding for that to bring apprentices on through their project. And then we just had a regional meeting with the K-16 partners, and we did a really fun idea of all of their reported outcomes. We made really cool slides out of. So I'm going to be talking to Maria and Jesse and Ish about that as an end product, possibly for all the projects through this, because the project awardees in the the K-16 funded really loved this outcome that we gave them towards the end of the grant cycle, which it leaves you some visuals and some really good talking points for your boards and such like that. So that's all I have, I think. Is that my last slide, Maria? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. You covered a lot of ground in a very succinct manner. So thank you.
Sure.
Any questions for Kathy, either in the chat or by coming off mute? Okay, don't see questions in the chat. I also do not see any hands raised. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you, Kathy, again. We're going to move on to our next presenter, and that is Anna, who is here with Marathon. So let's turn it over to you, Anna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. Nice to connect with you all again. I'm gonna, take a brief amount of time to go over some of these projects, kicking it off with City of Anaheim. So we have kind of been working continually on the development of graphic design and marketing collateral for the Store One initiative. And this includes the refinement and coordination of the marketing brochure, booklet, recipe card, flyers, and evergreen ads. And these efforts are to, support community storytelling, project branding, and stakeholder engagement efforts. Pivoting over to the city of Garden Grove. So this is also in conjunction with Fountain Valley and Santa Ana. And they have been continually collaborating to create a more cohesive streetscape through their respective Little Saigon districts. So Marathon has been supporting city staff and the Gensler architects with outreach efforts focused on community input and consensus building for incorporation into the design guidelines, which are currently under development. Recently, on the 25th in Garden Grove, a community design workshop was held, which further engaged community members and generated additional feedback on the proposed plans. This event actually drew more than 40 local stakeholders to discuss the future of Little Saigon, which was incredibly exciting for us. And now we're kind of in the works of planning an additional community design workshop in July. And Gensler is then expected to present its final report and findings to each municipality's city councils in September. Pivoting on over to Orange, the Orange County team has kind of continued supporting the development of Common Good, which is a workforce reentry center designed to provide resources and services for formerly incarcerated individuals. So there's been a lot of close coordination between Marathon, the County of Orange, and the amazing nonprofit Hire, HRE, which will manage Common Good's workforce training programs over the duration of the project. So currently the project website finalization efforts are underway with a planned launch anticipated in kind of early June. And additionally, we are helping to manage the planning and coordination for the project's June 24th groundbreaking event, in which I'm sure all of OCBC and everyone here will be invited. And then last but certainly not least is the City of Westminster. So the Westminster team has really been working on advancing community engagement efforts for the Little Saigon initiative through targeted outreach, multilingual survey coordination, and planning for their various community workshops, just to ensure broad and diverse community participation. Another facet of their project they've been working on is the building of workforce development initiatives. And this has been kind of through the coordination of potential school partnerships, student engagement opportunities, and career exposure activities kind of tied to local planning, business, and community development efforts. And there's also, between our team and the City of Westminster, been ongoing project coordination efforts, which kind of includes branding, consultant integration, community meeting preparations, student volunteer engagement, and the recent support of their very successful small business conference, which was held on May 7th. And that kind of wraps it up for us.
Great, thank you, Anna. And we do have a question for you in the Q&A function of the Zoom down at the the menu bar below. It's a question from Zoot asking if there's any great graphics that he may be able to use for Store One. He's reporting on Store One in the newsletter. Would love to connect with you to work on that. So feel free to, and I think you're on mute. Feel free to answer.
Apologies. I can drop my email in the chat and feel free to reach out and we can coordinate.
Great, excellent. Any other questions for Anna on this project, on her projects? Just check the chat. I don't see any additional comments or questions. So I think we are good to proceed. Thank you, Anna. We're going to go to Frankie now. Frankie, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Frankie here with Adelante Partners. Happy Friday, everybody. Good morning. So in a nutshell, just a quick high-level overview for across all of the projects here on the screen. Everyone seems to be moving in the progressiveness of the timelines within their contracts. We've been really ensuring that all activities and milestones are being achieved within their appropriate phases. So between starting with Mercado Cooperación, the project continues to progress steadily through its feasibility and planning phase. The community engagement activities have been completed and the team is now advancing for a market analysis and business model development. And they are in the early side of planning discussions. For La Milpa Cafe, they still continue to strengthen their operational capacity through staff training. Coffee operations development and strategic business are continuing to advance. The cooperative is also continuing the menu development and internal systems planning to support long-term and sustainability and growth. For the Community Health Initiative of Orange County, several major milestones have been completed, including staff licensure, health access assistant hiring and training, and outreach implementation. The organization also continues expanding participant engagement efforts through a strong social media and outreach campaign. Next is Bose Consulting. They have a vertical farm feasibility study, and the project continues also to advance through community engagement and feasibility planning activities. The current work includes resident outreach, infrastructure and cost analysis, partner engagement, and funding research to support future implementation phases. Next, we have Orange County Conservation Corps. The project also continues to make strong progress on the workforce development and fire prevention activities across the Orange County. Since October of 2025, they have trained 52 corps members and S212 certified, exceeding the program's original goal. The organization continues coordinating with partners including Anaheim Fire and Rescue, the City of Yorba Linda, and Ocean Parks to support brush and fire fuel reduction efforts throughout open spaces and hillside areas ahead of the summer fire season. They're currently recruiting and training efforts remain steady, with several corps members expressing interest in pursuing their long-term careers in firefighting and public service. So at this time, there are no major challenges impacting this project. Next, we have the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. The project has just secured a $1.5 million funding commitment, which is a really great milestone. They finalized their loan underwriting criteria and continues progressing towards issuing its first microloans. The team is also continuing discussions around additional funding opportunities to support long-term growth of the loan fund. And lastly, we have the Cambodian family. They just completed several community listening sessions and established some emerging key themes for the workforce and caregiving partnerships to support the implementation of their bilingual workforce pilot program. They have officially recruited participants for the pre-employment bootcamp, which the first cohort training session happens this Saturday. It's going to be 4 sessions, and it's going to carry all the way till the end of June. So Adelante Partners has been supporting them with the design of the curriculum, has been assessing them with making sure that the 4 training sessions are feasible and digestible for participants, and also helping them with the pre and post survey so that we can measure learning objectives from the participants. And that's it for my end.
I'm on mute. Any questions for Frankie? Thank you, Frankie, for those updates. Anybody in the chat or anybody wanting to come off mute to make any comments or questions? Okay, well, not seeing any. Maria, we're going to move on to you, and I think you're presenting slides and projects for Jackie, who wasn't able to join us today, Jacqueline. So let's turn it over to you to get an update on those projects.
Yeah, I will. Before I do and sector investment coordinators hop off, I just want to say thank you so much. Number 1 for being here. Number 2 for keeping the bullet points brief and straight to the point. We added a whole other round, up to 14 projects in addition to the 2 rounds we were already doing, and we're right on time. So thank you for that. So the CAPOC project, the training home is approximately 75 to 85% complete. The structure has been fully built and major finishing work, including paint, has been completed as well. The remaining work includes installation and testing of appliances prior to final completion. And then the front office space is also currently being remodeled to create a classroom for the apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship opportunity has been posted through both CAPOC and apprenticeship.gov, and a support staff position for the training center has also been posted. And then the training center has officially been named the Weatherization Research and Development Center. So it now has a name. That's really cool. And then the team also procured a heat pump water heater for future training purposes, along with HVAC systems and additional household appliances that have been installed for testing and hands-on training activities. Next slide, please. Project Kinship funding was used to contract with a graphic designer to develop the Kinship Grinds coffee logo. I haven't looked at the logo, so I don't have a logo to share. Oh, thank you, Larry. Yes, I see you need to hop off. Thank you. Which will support the program's branding and marketing efforts moving forward. The org also utilized funding to purchase a custom-built coffee cart that is expected to arrive this month. The coffee cart is considered a key component for implementation for the Kinship Grinds coffee program. And then after evaluating cost and operational needs, the org decided to focus on an event-based business model that supports private venues and events rather than public coffee cart service operations at this time. And then this approach better aligns with current funding levels and operational expenses. And Project Kinship also noted that they plan to evaluate community reception and overall program success during the first year before considering future expansion opportunities. Next one, please. Cielo recruited and contracted a lead consultant to serve as the architect of the pilot accelerator program. The consultant is supporting efforts to translate market research findings and then recalibrate the org's existing incubator program so that it better aligns with the goals of the pilot initiative. They also developed a fundraising framework which focused on increasing awareness and then securing additional funding to support implementation beyond the catalyst phase. And then as part of these efforts, the org submitted a grant application to help support future expansion and sustainability. And then lastly, the project team continued refining the overall project plan to ensure grant deliverables remain on track for completion by September 30th. And next one, please. And this project has continued expanding workforce development and outreach efforts through culturally competent community engagement strategies. One major accomplishment that they noted in the report included supporting the launch of a Persian language video series to support recruitment for the first 5 April cohort. And then as a result, their outreach and advocacy efforts provided several accessibility improvements where they also implemented access to Persian-speaking families that included the addition of an interpreter, development of a Persian language recruitment flyer, and then the Tavan and OCIACC logo as a media partner on outreach materials. And then their efforts help strengthen equitable access to workforce development pathways for the community members. And they also expanded their financial literacy ecosystem by establishing new institutional partnerships with major banks. Next slide. Goodwill attended the EVSE Summit and exhibition in Las Vegas to network with leading electric vehicle charging companies across North America, especially those operating in California. The org also participated in roundtable discussions to stay informed on the latest industry trends, market developments, and workforce opportunities within the EV charging sector. They also held a kickoff meeting involving their org, Goodwill International, and training partner Smarter Help to support program coordination and then implementation efforts. And then lastly, Goodwill established a new business development relationship with local employers who have expressed interest in partnering with the training program and then supporting future workforce opportunities. Next one. CLAOC, during this reporting period, they completed development and launch delivery of the AI for Water Management program in partnership with UCI Division of Continuing Education and then Moulton Niguel Water District. 2 cohorts were successfully implemented during this reporting period, with 22 students enrolled in cohort 1 and 21 students enrolled in cohort 2. And then cohort 3 is scheduled to begin in next week, so May 18. The project team also continued collaborating with the California Data Collaborative public agencies and industry partners to support the exploration of AI integration opportunities within water management systems. And then current efforts are focused on strengthening documentation practices, data collection, and ensuring that there is clear report-ready evidence to support final reporting. Next one, and that'll be the last one. City of Anaheim Economic Development staff met with internal city teams during this reporting period to define the project scope of work and ensure all program objectives were clearly outlined. And then these collaborative efforts helped establish a shared understanding of the project goals and deliverables in preparation for a request for proposal that was issued during the first quarter of 2026. And then at this time, the department is actively reviewing consultant proposals, and then they anticipate selecting a consultant very soon. And that is my last slide. I'll pass it back on to Ish.
Yeah, thank you, Maria, for those thorough updates. Any questions for Maria on any of these projects before we wrap up here? don't see any in the chat. No
And they
hands
can email me
raised.
too. I'm happy to send further updates.
Great, excellent. All right, well, we are at the hour. Before we log off, I do want to just invite all of you to consider joining Maria and I and a couple of others, OC partners. California Forward is hosting a convening in Long Beach to include both LA County and Orange County partners to inform some of the work it's doing in trying to inform the next administration and codifying some more durable regional collaborative thinking around these sort of collaboratives and trying to make sure that it's not just a one-time thing that happened during the Newsom administration, that we'd like to see it continue into future administrations. And so we've been holding a series of California Forward has been holding a series of sessions up around the state of California to help inform that. If you're interested in attending, it's a free event. We'd love to have you there and hear your input. It's not limited only to people from this collaborative. If you're involved in, the K through 16 collaborative in your county, we'd love to get that input. The regional climate collaboratives. If you're affiliated with Council of Governments, the MPO in Orange County, that would be super helpful too. So I'm going to drop the registration link in. It's next week on May 20th, and I'm going to drop the link to the registration so that if you can make it, we'd love to have you. It's at Long Beach Community College. All of you are welcome to come. We'd love to ensure that there is Orange County voices in the room to complement our friends from LA County and get this input from you all. But if you're interested in more information on this, you can definitely reach out to me, and I can offer you some more details on this convening. But it will be an important and a great opportunity to provide some input on what the lessons learned have been as part of this collaborative, other collaboratives. And so great opportunity to make your voice heard. There's my contact info in case you want to reach out with more details, but we'd love to have you there. Any other announcements quickly before we hop off?
No, I'll just say real quick-ish, we have some key leaders, everyone there. I'll be there next week facilitating conversations. So I'd really, really like for some of you to join us. All of you to join us, but I know some of you are traveling. So feel free to email me directly as well. I'm happy to support.
Great. And I do want to mention, just as a friendly reminder, that our next regularly scheduled virtual collaborative meeting is on the calendar for Friday, July 17th. And same hour, 9 a.m. If for some reason you're not seeing that on your calendar, please reach out to Maria. She has sent those invites to all of us, but if for some reason that may have dropped off, just ping Maria so that we can get you in the inviting. You have all the credentials to join. Otherwise, I just want to thank everybody for your time. A very excellent job of delivering updates on very comprehensive projects. So big kudos to all our presenters today. Thank you so much. And I wish you all a great weekend. We'll see you soon.